Why there was a need to start your own brand?
Overall soul of the brand itself has come from the personal pain that I was going through. I had severe insomnia. I couldn't sleep even if I took so much different types of melatonin or I took sleeping pills. It didn't matter. I just couldn't sleep. It started showing up on my face. And that point where people, instead of saying, "Hey, how are you?" they asked me, "Arey, tere chehre pe kya ho gaya hai?" That was such a confidence breaker. I went out to my R&D team and I said that, "Hey, can you help me?" And they made a specific formulation around the issue. And one of the customer in his 40s or something was like, "मैडम आपने ना एक सैंपल भिजवाया था, ठीक है, मैंने वो ले लिया, क्या बढ़िया मीठा सा था वो, फिर उसके बाद मैंने यूस्लीप ले लिया, हाँ क्या बढ़िया नींद आई है."
Like a shot.
Like a shot.
What if I told you your skin is not the real problem? The real problem of your acne, the dull skin, the fine lines, the hair fall is actually your body, your gut giving the red signals from inside. Today, our guest is Yashna Garg, who built her brand from her mess. Somebody who suffered herself through acne, through incredible gut challenges, those constipation that we don't really want to talk about. From her lowest health moments, she built the brand YouGap. And her story today will save us from the years of pain that we are going to suffer from. Because that will not only talk about her challenges, her resilient moment, but how and what it takes to build a brand. So, welcome Yashna. Welcome to Next Page. So, today we'll be flipping the page across your journey before you build YouGap, what led you to build that, right? And we'll be very happy if you share this with a lot of openness and rawness in the conversation so that the listeners get inspired. And a lot of dreamers are there in this world, you know, who wants to build a lot many things. Maybe your journey, your beliefs, your identity challenges would help them to build theirs. So when I look at your journey, I see that you have been you have worked into interior designing, you have done marketing, and then you built YouGap. Before we talk about YouGap, I want to know which part of your life created that bend which led to this.
Sneha, thank you so much for having me here today. My journey about wellness has actually been very different, I think, because nobody would think that somebody from a design background would get into a science field. So it was during COVID. I had just come back from my master's. It was January 2020 and that I came back. March 2020, COVID hit. And all my plans of starting my own design studio were just shattered. It was during that time that my mom, she pushed me and said that, "Why don't you join Xeon Life Sciences? It's a family-owned business." And she said, "Use your interior design skills into that." And I wasn't sure how it would happen because the interior design market was quite down at that point. That's when I was like, okay, let me just see what Xeon Life Sciences does. My first instinct was to go to its website. I did not like the website. So I was like, okay, fine, this is going to be my first project. I'm going to revamp the entire website. That's when I started collecting all the different data that was there for Xeon Life Sciences from the different departments. I put a very well thought through, very comprehensive website for Xeon Life Sciences. It took about 6 months. That's when sort of the journey, started happening. That transition to marketing started happening because I was now looking into all the social media. I was looking into Instagram, LinkedIn, packaging design, all the print collateral design, everything I was doing single-handedly. And then from there, the team building started happening. And that's how I got into marketing. And as far as my wellness journey is concerned, it's really a result of my own personal struggles that I faced later in life.
Okay. So when you transitioned from interior designing, where you did not, of course, get an opportunity to do anything because of COVID, I'm sure that was a very shattering moment in itself, right? And then courage to pick up to do something that you never planned of. what we always usually see in people is that the thoughts make their identity. So choosing comfort over courage, or choosing, discipline over the routine, is what create a shifts in them. And I think, in a very small brief, you kind of gave me a sense of it, that you chose to do something different rather than losing hope that I don't have anything, what do I do? But tell us more about that transition period when you had to make that choice to get into marketing. Because it's difficult for a lot of people to pivot. And it may sound very simple for you, the way you put it, but I'm sure there were a lot of thought and emotions which went behind getting into that. So what was that?
Honestly, Sneha, I think it was a lot of back and forth for me as well. It wasn't like, okay, I had this opportunity and I immediately took it. I did think a lot about it before taking it up, because I was like, this is not my background. How am I going to be successful? All those doubts did come into my mind. And I was, I think, 25 at the time. And at 25, when you're asking somebody to shift their fields after studying something for 7 years, it feels like, what about all that money and effort that I've put into that education, and suddenly you're asking me to shift it? That is not easy. But I've always been the person who doesn't live in the past. I've always been that person who looks into the future. And I keep working on it. I take challenges very openly and just went on.
Which was the lowest point when you started marketing by doing, after, spending 7 years of studying and then getting into the marketing? Was it like it was easy for you to get started, or there were lowest points during that journey? And how much time did you spend, before you started YouGap?
I think it's been 5 years it took me to start YouGap. Okay. I was working in the nutraceutical industry for 5 years before YouGap came into being. As far as my lowest point in my life is concerned, I think, so I had clear skin throughout my life. Okay, in US, in fact, I was quite overweight, but even then, skin was never an issue for me. When I came to India, for 2 or 3 years, everything was great. But then suddenly something in life happened that people, in India prefer to stay quiet about. They don't have those discussions very openly. During that time, stress took over me, and I had severe gut issues. I had severe insomnia. I couldn't sleep. Even if I took so much different types of melatonin, or I took sleeping pills, it didn't matter. I just couldn't sleep. And it started showing up on my face. And that point where people, instead of saying, hey, how are you? They asked me, Are tere chehre pe kya ho gaya? That was such a confidence breaker. And I was like, I need to seek something in life. I need to seek a solution for this. That's how YouGap happened.
So I'm sure where YouGap did not happen just by the thought. You had to go through multiple researches because you don't come from the background. Right? You had no background except what you did for nutraceutical firm, which is your own firm in a way. And you were doing marketing. Did you think, your interior designing experience and then working here in marketing helped you to start YouGap as well?
Absolutely. YouGap's, I think, brand identity, the visual identity came from my design background, because if I didn't have that, I wouldn't have the clarity of what colors to use, what font face to use, things of these sorts. And the overall soul of the brand itself has come from the personal pain that I was going through. So it's a combination of a lot of things. As far as marketing is concerned, marketing is strategy. Sometimes things work well, sometimes they don't. It's all hit and trial at the end of the day.
And I agree, because marketing takes a lot of testing before it would become successful.
Absolutely.
When you were talking about that, it is from your own pain, I see a lot of women, forget about men, we'll talk about women here first. A lot of women CEOs and founders that I also work with, they kind of know there is some challenge inside, but they do not agree to admit unless and until one day, I also call this as a mirror test, that you're standing in front of a mirror and then suddenly your skin is saying something. It's like you suddenly see those fine lines, you suddenly see those wrinkles coming, just because you were too stressed about, the entire whatever work you were doing. Your body gives you signal, your mind gives you signal, but you ignore it.
We're always taught, oh, you're overthinking, or you're overreacting.
Yeah.
I think that is probably the reason that women often ignore those signs and they don't take care of themselves.
Yeah, and we don't seek help also.
We don't seek help.
And that's what I did for all my years. I never seeked help, thinking because that will make me look weak. But now I openly say that my body doesn't have an appetite right now to take more. Please hold me for like a day or two. I tell that to my husband very openly. Because now I realize that, my brain is saying, my mind is shouting loud. If you do this any further, you're going to get into a burnout mode or you'll break down completely. So it's better to express. And I don't know if it has really helped to get a help, but at least I know that I've mentioned it very clearly. That at least gives me a sense of satisfaction. If we don't do that, that starts impacting your gut. That starts impacting more on your skin and hair and all of that. So when you had that point of overstress moment, or maybe, I don't know if it was even anxiety that you were going through, did that hit your skin so badly, your mind so badly, that you had to start looking for something that can transition your life? Because there's so many products out in the market. Why there was a need to start your own brand?
I went out to dermats. Okay. I took medicines. That was my initial instinct when I saw very itchy acne. It was painful. Like if I scratched it, it would bleed. It was really bad. So my first instinct was to go to a dermat, see a dermat, and what would they do? They would give us medicines, right? The thing with medicine is that if one gives you a solution, one gives you a cure, there's an additional side effect to it.
Yes.
That's the worst part. And as a woman who is in her late 20s or early 30s, the first question that doctors usually ask is, are you planning a baby? Right? Because they also know that there are side effects to the medicine. So for 2 months, something would work well on my skin. And then the third month, again, the same thing. Again, I would go back. The same thing would happen. So this happened twice or thrice. Eventually, we are manufacturers of nutraceuticals, right? So I know what products are working well, which are not, and which are for me, because I had that little bit of guidance. So I went out to my R&D team and I said that, hey, I've tried these ABCD nutraceuticals on myself. I've tried these medicines on myself, but it's not working out. Can you help me? I told them all the symptoms that I was facing, and they made a specific formulation around the issues. It was mainly 3 products. The first one was YouSleep, which is a melatonin and B6 formulation in a spray format. The second one was YouClear, which is for anti-inflammation for acne issues. And the third one is YouGut, which is made with bale extract to soothe the gut, to soothe the constipation, bloating issues. These 3 in combination, when I started taking over a period of about 3 to 4 months, I saw that there was clear, real, in a good way, reaction happening in my body. Of course, I had to pair it with a good diet, with regular exercise, and also regulate my sleep cycle, right? YouSleep helped me to regulate my sleep cycle. YouGut helped me with my bloating issues, and YouClear helped me with my acne issues. That overall combination worked so beautifully for me, which I was not able to find in the market at that point. And this I'm talking about 3 years ago, right?
Just 3 years ago.
Just 3 years ago. Now there are products in the market that have these. I'm not saying that I'm the only player, but some supplements work on some people and the others don't.
Yes.
Right? So you have to see what is suitable for you. When I saw that combination working so beautifully on me, I was like, this it felt like a miracle, honestly, because no solution. For 2 years, I tried something, but nothing was working. And this was amazing for me. And I was like, I have to launch it in the market. I know people are facing this issue. I had done my research, of course.
Right.
And it was the need.
So I constantly heard about melatonin, right? This is a supplement that you take for good sleep. Is it okay to induce this through supplements, or a human can get a sleep on its own? Because sleep results into a lot of problem, right? While you are stressed, if you can still get a better sleep, your body can start functioning better. But stress impacts your sleep in such a way that it start impacting your gut, and everything starts from gut.
Absolutely.
Right, your skin and hair. Maybe for you it was skin. For a lot of people it's hair. First it shows on hair. Like for me it shows on hair. So you were impacted by gut, and hence you also launched a bloating product, which can help you with gut bloating and all. Why do you think is melatonin so important, and why people cannot get a proper sleep by themselves?
Stress is obviously there. We're looking at screens all day long. The blue light is basically telling your brain that you're still up. After sunset, basically what happens is that your body has a natural circadian rhythm. After sunset, the pineal gland starts to release melatonin in your body naturally. But because of the blue light, the phones that we use all day long, because of our haywire schedules that we have, the body delays that production of melatonin, which is why you're unable to sleep at night. Taking a melatonin supplement is helpful to regulate that cycle. So that supplement is not needed if you're already having a good sleep.
But does it have a side effect?
It doesn't have a side effect. Anything taken in overdose is a problem, of course. But melatonin itself, if you take it in the proper dosage as recommended, or as your healthcare practitioner would recommend you, take it in that dosage and it's going to be fine. And once you've regulated your sleep cycle, you can let go of the melatonin. That's completely okay.
So what was your lowest point for your skin and gut?
Imagine you're eating a piece of chocolate and the next day you have a pimple. That is how it started happening with me. Like that tiny bit of sugar spike in the body and I'm getting a pimple the next day. And if I'm not sleeping right, then obviously my gut is going to be a problem, right? I'm going to feel constipated. And that constipation would go on for 3 days, 4 days. That's really annoying. And I'm sure people have been through this.
Yes, I think, and women especially go through constipation.
Yeah, I mean, look at our period cycles, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you really think about it, there's 1 week where your stomach is all great and everything. And then the next week you start to feel a little gassy. And then when you're close to your periods, your stomach is in its own world.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's only 1 week an entire month that you feel okay.
Yeah.
And I can so relate to what you're saying, because there's 1 week where I'm like all the good strength. I go to gym, lift weights. The next week I'm like, okay, I'm fine. I'm not going through any challenge, which, superficially I can feel. But why am I not able to lift the same weight? Which, forget about lifting more, not the same weight. And the third week it's like all around, I just have to do my daily routine of going gym and taking action. And by fourth, and then my cycle comes in and I'm like, okay, I need a break for 3 days.
Yeah. And the funniest part is, like, you go through this cycle every month.
Yeah.
Yet you're like, you keep questioning yourself.
Yes.
You know the answers, but you keep questioning yourself.
Yes. And I think thanks to us reading so much, that we are aware.
Yeah.
There are women who are not even aware. Like our grandparents were never aware.
Yeah.
At least my mother was also not aware. So she used to try to do all the work with the same intensity, where her body is asking to take rest.
Absolutely.
Even they were suffering. They were going through so much challenges, emotional stress, emotional low points. But they were so hard on themselves. They always wanted to give their best, behave their best, speak their best. And now I think we're so learned that we know about it and we want to express and let the men society also know about it, because it might not look superficially, but yes, hormonally we are going through a lot more.
I think being vocal about it not only helps us females to, give clarity to ourselves, but even to our partners or, your companions and all, because they're not mind readers, right?
Yeah.
If you can tell them that, hey, this is what I'm going through, I need a break for 2 days, let me be. And it's okay.
Yeah. You're very right. It's about just expressing and let the person know about it. So if your younger self, around 10 years ago, could see YouGap today, what would she say?
I think she would be very confused and have a lot of questions.
Like,
अरे तुमने तो डिज़ाइन पढ़ा था ना, तो साइंस में कैसे आ गई? So I think until and unless I tell her the entire story, she would not be satisfied.
interesting, you know what? You did your interior, you got an opportunity to work. Lot of people start their journey at 40s. It's okay. However, everything was going perfect for you, yet you pivoted in doing something new from zero. And that takes a lot of courage to do it. Tell us something about it. What was your mindset that made you do this? So one is, of course, your challenge, but the courage, the courage to do it. Because interior, spent 7 years, done nothing about it, got into marketing. By God's grace, that was your family business, so you got an opportunity to do it. But then starting all over again, at what age did you start YouGap?
I was 29.
At 29, starting it all from zero takes a lot of courage, right? Either you started at 21, 22 when you think you're, in the entrepreneur mindset, or then you started at 40s because you've taken a certain experience. 29 is an age where people have not figured out to become an entrepreneur fully. But you did it, right? So tell us about it. What kind of a blend or a mind you have, or you had that point in time that you could do it or you have to do it kind of a thing?
I always had this in me कि अपना खुद का कुछ करना है. ठीक है. To me, initially when I studied interior design, it was like, okay, fine, I'll open up my own design studio, which I do have today. But then I somehow was not feeling very fulfilled inside. Okay, having a family-owned business is a great thing. But again, मुझे ऐसा लग रहा था कि यार मेरे पास ना अपना खुद का पूरा शिद्दत से जो मैं जी जान लगा के करूँ, I didn't have anything of that sort. And the zeal in me always kept questioning my own thoughts that, Yashna, you're not doing something, yaar. Something is missing in life. And like I mentioned before also, like there was some things in life that happened that I'm not fully okay talking about here, but that society doesn't want to talk about loudly. And I was made quiet on a lot of points. And you have to just, as a female particularly, there's so much that you have to just keep inside you, just go through that pain and bear it all. But that pain, that struggle inside of me gave me the fire to start YouGap. Because if that struggle did not happen with me, right, those gut issues, those sleep issues wouldn't have happened with me, and then YouGap would not be born.
And what was the society telling you about it?
चुप रहो, दुनिया को क्यों बताना है?
What is that you were trying to say and that they didn't want you to tell you?
I think the fact कि कुछ struggles आप जब out loud नहीं बोल पाते हो, and the society is like, आपको ऐसे ही करना पड़ेगा, लोग क्या कहेंगे? You get that so much. तुम लड़की हो, तुम ऐसे नहीं बोल सकती, rebellious मत हो. इस तरीके की चीज़ें बहुत सुनने को मिलती है, and you know that you're going through that pain. लेकिन आप कुछ उसके बारे में कर नहीं पाते हो. You just have to keep enduring it. And it doesn't matter, आप T1 से हो, T2 से हो, T3 से हो. Like हम T2, T3 में तो ये बहुत ही कॉमन चीज़ है. लेकिन हमारी सोसाइटी में जो T1 सिटीज़ में है, वेल एजुकेटेड बैकग्राउंड से हैं, उधर प्रॉब्लम ये है कि ये चीज़ें होती हैं लेकिन खुलेआम बोली नहीं जाती. Now having said that, I'm not saying कि मेरे साथ कुछ बहुत ही ज़्यादा बुरा हुआ, But even those little things that I was not able to talk about really crumpled me up in my own little blanket.
So, was it making, I mean, one, there was an idea to start YouGap, and then there is always a fear of making it, grow and accepted and successful. So, when now transitioning from the movement of, people challenging you on your personality and something that you really want to transform your skin and gut. So, when you launched YouGap, which was your scariest point in there?
ये तो था ही ना कि सक्सेसफुल होगा कि नहीं होगा, right? You always have that question because कुछ भी when and anything that you're starting from scratch, you need funds to start it, right? Which for me, at least for 1 year and so on and so forth, वो मेरे पास थोड़ा सा background था to at least give it that push. Now I'm just navigating the best way कि how can I get these products to the people through different marketing strategies and all. But हर रोज ये तो लगता ही है कि am I doing it right? Why is it not reaching to people? Or do I need to improve onto something? Am I missing something? Is my are my team members doing enough? Am I doing enough for my own team members? That entire circle keeps going on, and from day to night, from the moment you wake up till the time that you're sleeping, or even in your dreams sometimes, ये सोच तो आता है कि यार क्या मैं सही कर रही हूँ. एवरी सिंगल डे वो थोड़ा सा तो डाउट अपने आप में रहता ही है.
ये डाउट आपको पुश भी करता है लेकिन टू डू योर बेस्ट, आई थिंक
every day because it's like you're your biggest competition. You want to be better.
Now today the market is full of wellness products, and while you have established yourself 3 years back, how do you plan to go about market it in such a way that it reaches each and every audience or each and every consumer who deserves YouGap?
I would probably share my story with them. And the fact that we need to educate this huge bunch of audience that nutraceuticals are meant to be taken for a long time. In today's date, even right now, people think कि nutraceuticals are like medicine or they're meal replacers, which is not the case, right? If you're taking a gut health supplement, you need to consume it for 15, 20 days, 1 month, and that's when you will see results. And that has to be paired with good diet, good exercise, proper hydration, good sleep, because it's supplements, if you think, they supplement, they substitute, right? तो वो साथ में supplementary की तरह काम करते हैं. They are not replacers of anything,
Right.
they only enhance.
Right. Quick question, tell me what built YouGap more, your design sense, your marketing brain, or your personal pain?
It's a combination, I would say. The designing, I think, gave it the brand identity, its essence, really. The marketing is obviously strategy, and the personal pain is what gave it the soul. I think if that personal pain wasn't there, YouGap wouldn't exist.
So how do you make sure YouGap is not the another wellness product in the market, or it's another Me Too product?
I've tried all the products myself before I launched them in the market, right? And I know that they work for sure. But what I'm trying to do here is make the products very travel friendly, because I did do a survey where I was looking into what kind of packaging are people really interested in. So they said they want travel friendly packaging. They would prefer powder formats over liquid formats or over tablets and capsules. So that's the kind of range that I have launched. If they were asked that would you prefer a bland taste or would you prefer something that's more fruity? So that is how the range has been really launched. All the products that you will see have some sort of a fruity flavor to it. So one is green apple, one is kiwi, strawberry,
that on the website.
blueberry. That's there. Another thing would be that they're all to be a part of your lifestyle. They're not supposed to challenge your lifestyle. And the best time to, to remember to consume something is during your breakfast time.
It's when you're just starting your day and you have that bandwidth.
Right. So all the things and all that formulation and everything is designed to be consumed at that point. Also, they're in sachets. So you can take them with you when you're traveling, when you're out for work, anything.
Yeah. I think that's so much needed because, when I used to travel too much, the biggest problem what I had to suffer is, take all my tablets into, small box so that I can easily use it when required. Second challenge was, making, any kind of product or powders that I used to consume. I used to take it in a, zip lockers or in a tiffin box. But then again, carrying those was a mess because what if the box opens or the zip lockers get open in during the travel or anything. So I think this is a very good approach because it makes very child friendly. At the same time, when you spoke about something in the morning is something which I start very efficiently. And as the day passes, by the afternoon, I'm so much engrossed in my work that even if I sometimes get a reminder, I have to take that supplement, I'm like too lazy to just go ahead and pick that up. Yeah. So I think this is really important. And if you have designed your products, which of course you also mentioned that you consumed, and then that shows your glowing skin and hair, because I've seen your before pictures as well. So I mean, that's a great result. You're a testimony for your own product.
Thank you.
Let's talk about one thing that when you build a wellness brand, what is the one thing which no entrepreneur wants to talk about loud in public?
Staying ethical. Right? Because there are so many marketing gimmicks out there.
Yeah.
And you just have to stay ethical throughout, because those marketing gimmicks give you short-term sales and that makes people happy. That consistency.
And what is the difference between a nutraceutical product vis-a-vis a medicine and vis-a-vis, what people talk as substitute for your, right? So what are the differences?
Medicine as in pharmaceutical, if we talk about, is for cure. अगर आपको headache हो रहा है, आप एक medicine लेते हो, आपको 30 minutes to 1 hour में आराम मिल जाता है, and then you're good to go. With nutraceuticals, that is for prevention. ताकि if you're having a headache, right, you take nutraceuticals on a regular basis every single day so that आपको eventually headache हो ही ना. Right? If you've been facing gut issues for a very, very long time, we are not saying कि आप इनो पी लो, आपको डकारी आ जाएंगी and you're good to go.
Your gas is out.
Your gas is out. That is very short term. But we're giving you a supplement that you can consume for a longer period of time, and eventually you wouldn't have to consume it because you've regulated your entire lifestyle pattern. Because even those supplements, till the time you don't make lifestyle changes, वो supplements आपको impact नहीं करेंगे. थोड़ा सा कहीं ना कहीं help कर देंगे, but to see a larger than life वाला जो impact रहता है, that you have to consume along with a healthy diet, a healthy lifestyle. And those meal replacers,
Yes.
I think that you're talking about, they're okay to be, The meal replacers are good to be consumed for, I think, if you're in a weight loss journey, but I don't think they're long-term solutions. At the end of the day, it is your diet. Like I personally don't recommend anyone to go in for meal replacers. I would rather say that make changes to your diet. But आज की date में people are looking for shortcuts. Right? They would just prefer to mix a powder in a glass and just gulp it up. But that doesn't fulfill your daily nutrition. So I don't, on a personal level, I don't recommend it.
Yashna, I always see whether it's an entrepreneur or a leader, I mean, where you have already achieved something, self-doubt never ends. Self-doubt हर बार आपके लाइफ में आता है एंड तभी वो आपकी एक नई आइडेंटिटी शिफ्ट क्रिएट करने की कोशिश होती है. अगर आप कर लोगे तो ठीक है, नहीं कर लोगे then you'll be in the same cycle where you're constantly trying to think, what am I doing right, am I capable enough, and things like that. Well, a lot of people don't want to talk about their self-doubt and imposter syndrome, as an entrepreneur, I'm sure you go to self-doubt lot more than, somebody doing a monotonous job or a monotonous routine of life. Because you're, like you mentioned, that you've always have to think about, am I doing enough for my team? What changes do I need to do in the marketing that can make my brand successful? What should be my next budget for, XYZ thing? And so much which every day goes, even when you're sleeping, even when you're dreaming. The self-doubt and the hunger to achieve new and the next never goes off. So tell us, how do you manage your self-doubt, and do your mind still whisper, what if I fail publicly?
Every single day at night, I give myself 5 minutes before I go to sleep. वो 5 मिनट जो मेरे होते हैं, that entire day, whatever I have done, I sit, I think about it. And a lot of times what ends up happening is that I didn't do enough, or I didn't achieve a certain result. And I cry in my bed. That's what I do. Because crying really lets go of a lot of emotions. I think crying is underestimated.
I totally agree.
Right? And जब वो करते हैं, इतने इमोशंस आपके लेट गो हो जाते हैं, एंड इट मेक्स यू फील सो मच लाइटर. एज एन एंटरप्रेन्योर, I don't have a co-founder. You don't get to talk about your challenges to people. You cannot talk about your challenges to your team, right? About your personal challenges. There are certain things you can't talk with your friends, you can't talk to your parents, and you are the only one जो वो संभाल सकता है अपने आप. तो वो सेल्फ डाउट हमेशा ही रहता है, वो गिल्ट ट्रिप में आप हमेशा ही रहते हो, आई एम नॉट डूइंग इनफ, विच इज़ वाई आई एम नॉट ईजिली हैप्पी जब भी कुछ सक्सेस होता है.
I think this is with most of the founders. We don't get happy जब भी कुछ होता है, because we always have a larger target to achieve.
वी हैव अ लार्जर टारगेट टू अचीव. सो थोड़ा सा भी सक्सेस होता है, हाँ ठीक है, ये तो होना ही था, दिस नो बिग डील, लेट्स गो.
Yeah, this happens to me also all the time. And then I need somebody to tell me, like, reflect on my own hard work and where did I come all the way till here.
So I keep getting those reminders with people around me. I'm very blessed to have that supportive system around me that they make me remind it. But all in all, that self-doubt, I think it just remains, and you just have to push through it every single day. You have to keep giving it your best. There's no other way.
There's no other way. When you talk about that system of people, who's your biggest support always?
My mom. It doesn't matter what is happening in my life. Like, she knows I'm going to get upset, I'm going to get angry also, with her also. But she'll be like, हो जाएगा ना, कर लेगी, पहले भी तो कर रहा है. You've dealt with worse things, हो जाएगा.
कभी कोई लाइफ में से वो एक बंदा ऐसा ही चाहिए होता है बोलने के लिए, यार यहाँ तक तो किया है ना, आगे भी हो
जाएगा.
And I think that's the most closest and strength that you closest person and the strength you get. Even if आप ही को सब कुछ करना है.
हाँ.
मम्मी तो आके नहीं आपके ऑफिस में बैठने वाली है. She gonna handle your marketing strategies and funds and etc. But that single line does the work.
And I think why she says this, or she knows that it's going to be okay, because वो खुद मॉम डैड मेरे जो हैं, वो खुद इतने स्ट्रगल के साथ गो थ्रू हुए हैं लाइफ में, एंड मैंने उनके स्ट्रगल्स देखे हैं. सो व्हेन शी सेज दैट इट्स गोइंग टू बी ओके, आई बिलीव हर, बिकॉज आई हैव सीन द लोएस्ट पॉइंट्स इन देयर लाइफ एंड दे हैव कम अप फ्रॉम इट. तो आई रिलेट वेरी वेल टू हर व्हेन शी सेज हो जाएगा, देख लेंगे.
So, but today, with so much of awareness, what is still something that you're healing from?
A guilt that I'm not working enough.
Okay, that I don't think any entrepreneur, and that's where that 80 hours work week and working on Sundays. For entrepreneur, I don't think there is any weekend.
नहीं है, फिर छुट्टी पे जाते, छुट्टी पे भी we're working only, right? अगर आप let's say you're working, then also you're on and off. मतलब वो सारा mix होता है. You can take an off anytime you want, but at the same time you have to be available all the time.
And I also see it this way, that while you can take off any time you want, are you ready to take that off?
Yeah. My mom, dad, they're going for a trip shortly, and my mom asked me, चलेगी साथ में? मैंने कहा नहीं बहुत काम है, आप जाओ. I can't.
My daughter tells me, Mama, we are going on a vacation, no phone. She'll not tell this to my husband, okay? I don't know why, because he's also an entrepreneur. She's like, Mama, your phone is going to be with me. It makes me feel good. It makes me feel guilty. And at the same time, it makes me want my work to be done also. So emotionally, I'm trying to balance things and tell me, Sneha, you can make it happen. You have to be with your daughter. You have to be mother, like fully mother for, few days. I think that's another thing as a motherpreneur we go through. Yeah. So nice. Let's do some fun segment now. And this will be like a rapid fire. What's the funniest or the weirdest feedback a customer ever gave you?
So we were making calls to our customers one-on-one, and I was on a call with them, and one of the customer in his 40s or something was like, मैडम आपने ना एक सैंपल भिजवाया था पिंक पिंक से कलर का, ठीक है, मैंने वो ले लिया, क्या बढ़िया मीठा सा था वो, फिर उसके बाद मैंने यू स्लीप ले लिया, हाँ क्या बढ़िया नींद आई है. I was like, what just happened? I like वो पानी में मिक्स करना था. अरे नहीं नहीं मैम, हमने तो ऐसे ही ले लिया. Like, okay.
Like a shot.
Like a shot.
If YouGap had a dating profile, what its bio be?
Get rid of the situationship with your stress and gut.
Oh, amazing. That's great. I think you should have one now. What's your toxic wellness habit?
I have to organize everything before I sleep. I cannot let go of that. Oh, and there's one. I will buy all sorts of wellness teas, but eventually end up having chai.
I think chai is a good start. We're Indians. If you had a zero for marketing and 24 hours to make your first 10 sales, exactly what would you do?
Tell my story and go one-on-one to people with my products. Like how you have a trade fair, sort of, but I would just do it one-on-one.
Right. I think this was the most, nowadays it's been sidelined, but this is how always the marketing and sales was done before.
Yeah. In fact, my team was at the trade fair yesterday giving out samples to everyone. And we, I think, gave away almost 1,000 samples.
Wow. And how do you collect data today in terms of reviews, testimonials, feedback? And how's your product doing overall? How do you collect that data?
So we do send out feedback forms along with the product. We also do one-on-one call reviews. That there's a weekly exercise that we do where we are calling our customers.
Oh, wow.
So that is something that is quite inherently in YouGap. That is the best way to actually get a review.
I think that also gives a personal touch to understand what you're doing, where you are, and what you can work. And I think feedbacks are very much important because feedbacks are not failure for me. Feedbacks are always what you can do better.
Improvements.
Yeah. I was speaking to a friend and she made a very good statement that if you have to know your beauty, it's like your Instagram stories. What's happening inside you will come on your face very naturally. So someone trying to work today on their skin and hair, what is one advice that you would want to give them?
First, look at your gut. Second, look at your sleep and your hydration.
That's the most basic thing.
Most basic. Because see, 90% of your mood hormones, that serotonin, is released from your gut. Right? So if you're feeling happy, it reflects on your face. If you're not stressed out, it reflects on your face. Right? If you're hydrated, your skin is plump. If you're well slept, you don't have dark circles. So all of that together, definitely, like gut and sleep and hydration.
What's one belief about beauty you want to break for the next generation?
That makeup will cover everything, will cover every problem that you have. I've seen so many youngsters just, investing so much into beauty products.
Yes.
But
Korean drama has given a Korean skincare.
Glass skin and everything. It's practically impossible to get a glass skin. We have pores.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen. But yes, on camera, that can definitely give you a face filter. But at the end of the day, you have to resolve or repair what's happening inside your body. So your gut, your sleep.
Last couple of questions. What does success mean to you?
Success to me means that people around me have been helped by me, right? It doesn't matter as to what phase in my life I am, whether I'm very successful or whether I'm here or down here. It doesn't matter. As long as, like, I want to be known for being helpful. If success is there, around me, people are happy. I am happy, right? I've solved a real issue.
Yeah.
Right? I've been able to empower somebody to take up their own entrepreneurial journey or launch their own line or just that.
When you started the day one, what was your why?
Can I solve a real issue that's not being solved already?
And I think this is this why which makes every entrepreneur, every leader keep going every single day, even when they are in their self-doubt, waking up early in the morning, middle of the night. It's the why which keeps them going. And that's what builds the resilience in them. So let's say today you're successful already. Your brand has grown enough. How would you want people to remember you, your product, your brand?
Not by the product, not by the brand. I think could be the courage of just starting over. There's always that option. You can always start over. It doesn't matter what the world says. But if you've got it in you, you can do it.
Wow, that was powerful and deep. And I think this is what overall in the conversation I learned about you is that it's the courage to express and the courage to make a difference. If you have and you know what you're striving for, can make anybody work towards their dream and vision. So your journey, I don't find this more like a wellness trip, but more a journey from pain to establishing a power. Like we begin saying that, your mess is always your message. And that's where I think YouGap Wellness is trying to solve real problem, real issues with an intent to impact thousands and millions of people. So thank you, Yashna, for sharing this journey, having this open and raw conversation, talking about how you established YouGap while you navigated with so many other things in your life, emotionally, personally, and professionally as well. So kudos to you and thanks to you to being part of this conversation on Next Page.
Thank you, Sneha.